Scopel over there. Scopel.
Okay. Yes. How we doing?
Good, how are you?
Is there like a tape here? Tape? I got you. You guys good?
A couple of scrimmages under your belt, spring game 2. How comfortable do you think you guys are in the new offense at this point?
I think we're comfortable. I think you know, like you said, going through spring ball, the summer workouts, the player-led practices. I think guys took really good leadership and teaching themselves the offense, and then obviously going through. I think it was today's day 16, day 17th of camp. We got a good, pretty understanding of what's going on.
Troy Franklin got a lot of praise from Lanning and Kenny. Just what have you seen from him this fall camp in terms of getting consistent?
Growth. You know what I mean? I think, you know, like those guys in that room, they take advantage of coming in the meeting room every day, you know, and treating it like it's a game. And we're putting them in situations to where, you know, when they do get on the field, they know exactly what's happening. But Troy, he just stayed after practice today, got his catches in. He comes in early to meetings, and he's taking good notes, and he's attentive.
I think Chris has maybe had the most experience at Oregon from your group. Just your perspective on his development and his impact of your group.
You know, Chris, like you said, he's been here a while. I think the growth, I think he's maturing. You know, it is. This is year 3 for him, I think it is. You know, in understanding the system. You know, Chris is doing a really good job. He's coming to work every day. He's staying after. He's catching the footballs. He's catching tennis balls in the room. He's coming in for extra time with Coach Lockett, and you know, getting down the plays and the scheme, and he's doing a really good job.
What about Caleb's impact, and just what did you like about him to add him into your room this offseason?
Caleb, you know, he's a vet, right? He's played a lot of college football, and you know, just being able to bring you know, that workman-like mentality to the room. In practice, he competes. He's a big body. And he's a joy to be around. He fits right in.
Coach Lanning has been using this comparison of going to the doctor and getting a prescription. After looking at that scrimmage, what are you prescribing to the team this week?
I thought last week was a good week. You know, the best way to describe it was growth. You know what I mean? That, you know, we had to fight through some adversity. Practice got hard. We didn't have some of the, you know, we had some ups and downs, some peaks and valleys with practice. But the good thing, like Coach Lanning says, going to the doctor, these guys come back in the evening and they're ready to learn. They know what to expect.
I mean, you guys haven't specifically started thinking about Georgia at the time, but do you have a sense of just how eager your receiver group is for that challenge of going against the reigning national champions?
I mean, yeah, they're eager. We're all eager to get there, but we understand we're going to be where our feet are right now and be present, and let's worry about us getting better at the moment.
Seven said that he's really starting to feel comfortable in that receiver role after kind of learning the position in spring and over the fall camp. What have you seen from him these past couple of weeks as he really starts to grow and utilize all of those skills that he has?
I think this, and I'm going to say it again, these guys come into work every day. They come into meetings. They come early. They put in the extra time. They know they can't just show up and play football, and no one can. They're all about putting in the extra work, and I think that's an attribute to why Seven's game is getting better, and he's improving and developing at the position of receiver.
Do you have a kind of number in your mind at this point of how many guys you want to rotate with this year?
No, I don't have a number right now. I mean, it's a good group, good deep group.
How different is that compared to spring training? I mean, you had 7 guys, now it's closer to 11, maybe 12. Filling out a 2 deep at times is hard, depending on who's available in the spring compared to now you're 3 deep plus.
Yeah, again, it's competition, right? But the cool thing is all these guys, they get along, they're tight, they're a close-knit group, and they make each other better. So I don't have an exact number right now.
How much did spring help just as well? Get acclimated?
You know, coming early, right? I mean, that's not easy in its own way, but coming early and getting here before the rest of the kids in this class, it's obviously helped them a lot.
How important was it to get Chase Cole, and what have you seen that maybe added that you weren't even expecting?
He's a leader. I mean, he's done it. He's a vet. He's a pro. You know, it's funny because those guys in that room lean on Chase a lot because he has a lot of experience. And I think that's what he brings to the room. And he's a good dude, really good dude. He's a football guy. He's like the quarterback out there.
Going back to your career a bit, Junior, I don't think you've had to overhaul the position quite as dramatically as this, at least not at this level, where you had to bring multiple transfers in, multiple young guys in one single offseason. What has this process been like for you, where, like you said, in the spring, it was a thinner group, now you've got some guys where there's a lot more certainty able to appear in the depth chart, array of experience and things. You answer a lot of questions, but when you're overhauling a position group, what is that experience?
I wouldn't really say it was an overhaul, right? I mean, those guys in the room have, for the most part, the nucleus of the room. So we just added a few pieces, and those guys, we added the right pieces. and I think that's the most important piece. We have the right pieces to where it makes the connection a little bit easier. And that's one thing Coach Lanning's been talking about, right? It's just this whole camp has been about connectivity and growth and toughness, and these guys have take a lot of ownership in that.
Seven was just telling us he played some offensive line in his younger years. Does he ever show off that kind of offensive line, warhead mentality at all?
Said. O-line, he said that, really?
Yep.
I need to see the film. The eye in the sky don't lie, right? I'm gonna ask him about that too when I get in there. But no, Seven's doing good. Now he's tough, man. He's tough, and like I said, we talk about connection, toughness, and growth, and sacrifices, and he's really been tough throughout camp.
Kyler Casper, someone that jumps to the 22 class. He's a young guy coming in here. What have you seen from him as he kind of acclimates to the college game this whole camp?
He's young, right? Every day is new, but gosh, from day one to I think day 16, day 17, you've seen the growth, you've seen it develop, and I'm excited to see what his future looks like.
Where does he start off for you, Junior? X, Z? Where's his kind of?
All these guys kind of play all over, you know what I mean? So, we'll figure it out when the time comes. What's the best thing? We throw the book at them and we teach them it, and we'll see where they fit.
You coach many guys who've reclassified like that? That's kind of unusual, right?
No, it's my first one. Yeah, it's my first one. So it's our first one, but no, it's pretty cool. That says a lot about who he is and the sacrifice he made. To skip his senior year and be able to come here and play and get straight to college. That says a lot about who he is and and his family.
What did you see that you thought like, hey, yeah, you can do this. You can stay swimming and not sink?
The way when you get to know these kids, right? You get to know their background, you get to know their moms, their dad, the siblings, their home. And he comes from a good background. His dad played NFL football, and like his upbringing, man. Like I knew that he can come here and he wouldn't flinch, and he hasn't flinched since.
Kenny was giving Troy a lot of love for consistency so far in camp.
He's been really consistent. Really.
How do you define it? Is that consistent because no drops? Is that consistent because of the time he puts in? But how do you define consistency?
He just so happens to be making a play every day. You know what I mean? He shows up every day. That's consistency, right? And but again, he had a good summer too, right? And that's what happens.
Has it been sort of a similar thing with Dante? I never had much of a chance to ask you about him.
Yeah, Dante's been doing it. He's been really good. Gosh, Dante put in a lot of work this summer, and he's making plays. He made a few plays out there for us today. Dante is one of those guys that literally lives in the receiver room. Like every time I'm coming in there, he's sitting at the computer and he's watching something. He's the guy the night before, a practice or a meeting the next day. He's the one that's texting the group like, hey, could we get the install for tomorrow? He's one of those type of guys. So I enjoy being around Dante. He's a great kid.
Isaiah Brevard, Josh Lopez, where they kind of role-wise.
Yeah, Chachi is. I know we talked about Troy being probably one of the most consistent guys, but right on his bumper is Josh Delgado. He's got a high football IQ. There's a guy in the room that challenges me as a coach that asks a lot of questions and a lot of good questions. It's Josh Delgado. He's made a lot of plays this camp, as well as Isaiah Brevard.
Let's go, Greg.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys. Yeah.